Day 2 of CinemaCon, and what do you know? There was Toby Emmerich, front and center, presiding over Warner Bros presentation, having just once more survived a change of ownership at Warner Bros. Woo! Emmerich presented his upcoming slate, which, for a guy known for saying no and being slow to get things done, still managed to have a very strong slate and a very aggressive one as well. Shots fired at Christopher Nolan. Let's discuss. In more ways than one, actually, considering how strong the Batman franchise is once again, with many thinking it might never get to where it once was under Nolan. Woo-hoo! So yes, those are the two biggest announcements. First up, making the Batman 2 official, with Matt Reeves on hand to confirm that he'll be returning, as will Robert Pattinson and the entire creative team for the first film. Not any word on some of the cast members that you guys are most excited about. I know a lot of you want to know if Zoe Kravitz will return, but definitely Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves. And I think that really is the duo that at the end of the day make it work. I think you cannot undervalue Robert Pattinson's creative contribution. And by the way, a lot of rumors about them not getting along, so I'm glad that they're both professionals and put that beside them to go forward with the biggest movie of both their careers. So anyway, I think that Robert Pattinson, as you can see from a lot of the interviews that he's done, a lot of the behind-the-scenes footage that was just released on HBO Max, he is crucial to this new version of the Batman. He really gets it. No one's been able to, it's always been a killer thing for an actor to have to act behind a mask, and Robert Pattinson found a way to elevate that through his eyes. That's like incredible. All the actors have ever played Batman, and Robert Pattinson's the first person to think of that. He deserves credit for that. But Matt Reeves, he is as important to the Batman as Christopher Nolan was to the Dark Knight. And you'll note that I didn't say Batman Begins, with Reeves' trilogy, hopefully, already much stronger out of the gate. Let's hope Reeves' next movie is his own The Dark Knight, leveling up in that way, rather than how Nolan lost momentum with The Dark Knight Rises. Although Nolan's heart wasn't even in it anymore, because he, of course, was already thinking about, Inception and wanting to get that Oscar. Matt Reeves is very much into the Batman still, so that's, I think, a good sign. But it's tough to follow up an impressive movie, a really impressive, iconic film. It's hard to do that again, back to back. And very few directors have pulled it off. Even Steven Spielberg fudged Jurassic Park 2. What are some franchises where the follow-up film was just as good or better than the first? I would say Back to the Future is a good example of that, although some of you would argue that it's not the case. But I think we can all agree that The Godfather is definitely perhaps and maybe the only shining example. No confirmation as to what some of you will argue that Batman Begins is a great movie, and then that means The Dark Knight, but I don't agree with you. And the box office certainly isn't there to support that. Anyway, no confirmation as to whether or not Reeves is actually going with Mr. Freeze for the second film, as he's hinted at earlier interviews when the movie first came out. And also no word on a release date or even a year of release. So they still have 2 series they're getting off the ground, but at least it's coming, and we know that they're working on it. So very exciting. I'm so happy. But speaking of Nolan, as I said, Warner Brothers is taking on their former golden boy and now enemy by dating Greta Gerwig's Barbie opposite Nolan's Oppenheimer for Universal, and revealing this first look, which is trending higher on Twitter right now than the Batman 2. Obviously, there was no new information about the Batman 2, besides it being official, and everybody always loves something they can look at, so that's helping the Barbie as well. But still, wouldn't that be great if they called it the Barbie? The Batman, the Barbie. But it looks like Warner Brothers could have themselves another franchise to ruin. But still, looks like Barbie might actually be something. On that note, though, the 2 movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer, couldn't be more different. But in a bid to get his Oscar, Nolan isn't doing a huge blockbuster, although I wouldn't be surprised if he incorporates blockbuster elements. But he's trying to do a serious movie about the origin of the atom bomb, which is in the news a lot lately with Russia versus Ukraine. But Barbie, on the other hand, is a fun crowd pleaser. Co-star Simu Liu tweeted, "Come on Barbie, let's go party," which of course is a line from the iconic Aqua song, and it looks like Warner Brothers is Simu Liu just a marketing genius, Or did Warner Brothers license that song? I think, even if they hadn't, they should take a cue from Simu Liu and market it, because that would be absolutely brilliant for the film. Now, sure, Oppenheimer has a star-studded cast, but so does Barbie. Barbie has an incredible cast. And Greta Gerwig did an incredible job with Little Women, not only delivering what fans expect of the source material, but at the same time modernizing it and making it more accessible to new audiences. Can she do the same with Barbie? Barbie's got a big hill to climb, because Barbie, of course, represents an idea of the feminist or the woman, female ideal, I guess. See, it's very hard to discuss, but that, it's had trouble keeping up with society's version of that, or women's version of that. So, it's a tricky thing to do. And the film actually has a very diverse cast, which you'd never guess from this introductory photo. But that's okay, it's just got Barbie in it. I think the pick is okay, by the way. I don't think it's a home run, but I think it's such a relief that it's not horrible, which is usually the case from Hollywood. I think everyone breathed a huge sigh of relief. They're like, oh wow, that looks workable. Margot Robbie, as always, looks gorgeous, but she doesn't have the cute factor, or seems like she's in on the joke, as, say, Emma Stone does in her projects. And interestingly, people have argued that Emma Stone would have made a better Harley Quinn as well. And I think, there's a case for both those. Cruella did very well. Emma Stone, I think, is very strong at the box office, whereas Margot Robbie has not yet proven to be so. That's interesting. To me, the cutest thing about the picture is that the car actually looks like it's made out of plastic. I think that's hilarious. It comes from the Mattel mold from the factory. I think that's great. And you can see Barbie's dream house there a little bit, and it looks like it's borrowing from the Incredibles style, which of course is very popular. And that would be interesting if maybe Warner Brothers could combat the Incredibles with the Barbie brand, to have something similar along the lines to Disney's timeless franchise. But Barbie's ad campaign is just getting started, and I think it will very likely be a big hit. I just have too much faith in Greta Gerwig to think that she will. I think she's not going to drop the ball. I think she's going to hold it all together, and I think she's going to be able to navigate the problems that a Barbie movie one would think would run into today. Pixar, of course, already tackled this, but by putting the focus on Ken, and I can't wait to see Ken, though, who, of course, is played by Ryan Gosling. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of reveals, Warner Brothers did show off a lot of footage at CinemaCon, but it was for attendees only. That said, though, they still managed to make a big splash with The Flash, generating headlines with the descriptive articles. Michael Keaton apparently shows up in his new bat suit, which has leaked already, not just on the set of Batgirl, but promo shots online, if you know where to look. And he said his classic line, apparently, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." I don't know if I would have shown that to the CinemaCon attendees, because I think that robs you of that moment when the trailer eventually comes online. But oh well, this is what they did. A bunch of other rumors were also confirmed, including a very young Superman and Zod being a major player, as of course I have been telling you for quite some time. And others have. The Flash has become a very poorly guarded secret. I guess maybe that's a factor too. But it looks like The Flash will release with or without Ezra Miller on hand to promote it, and Miller, of course, was not at CinemaCon. But Dwayne Johnson was! He did a fun fake-out pretending to do a video intro for Black Adam before saying F it and walking out on stage in person. Apparently the crowd went nuts, which I think is funny. They're like, we've never seen anybody. I mean, it's like, come on. All right, but anyway, I'm glad the gag worked. Dwayne Johnson debuted a new trailer, plus some Super Pets footage. There were also trailers for Shazam 2 and Don't Worry Darling, and then also footage reels for Elvis, Wonka, and yet another footage reel for Aquaman 2. All right, so that means that there are trailers cut and ready, though, for The Flash, Black Adam, Shazam 2, and Don't Worry Darling. I'm surprised that Don't Worry Darling wasn't released tonight. They did put out this official still. I would be surprised if any trailers were released tomorrow. I mean, if they are, maybe they could around 9 a.m. But, Moon Knight's dropping this big 5th episode in a few hours, which will hopefully play out. I mean, Moon Knight's been a little soft in the, people aren't watching it right when it drops, so there's maybe a window there for Warner Brothers. But at 12:45 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, Disney's doing their presentation earlier than anyone else has, because they're going to probably release the Avatar 2 trailer at the very least. and then Union Focus are tomorrow night. So tomorrow's really crowded. I mean, any trailer that gets released tomorrow I won't have the whole day. We'll just be throwing it away, I think. I'd expect Black Adam and Shazam 2 to be playing in front of Doctor Strange 2, so because they come out later this year. So maybe they'll release those trailers early next week instead, or maybe the Thursday this week, because Paramount and Lionsgate have their presentations a little later in the day on Thursday, and I don't think either one of them is going to release anything that Warner Brothers can't handle, basically. They just don't want to go up against Disney tomorrow. As for The Flash, the movie is over a year away, so if a trailer is released, I think it will be to combat the bad publicity from Ezra Miller. The Batman first teaser came out August 2020 at DC Fandom, which was way more than a year before the film actually hit theaters. And it's been very successful. In fact, that first teaser got people super amped about the movie and changed a lot of people's minds right away as soon as the first teaser was shown. So maybe Warner Brothers is hoping they can do the same with the first look at The Flash. So all these trailers are ready to go and could drop at any minute. So what do you think of Warner Brothers CinemaCon presentation? I know some of you are like, oh, I'm going to see Oppenheimer and Barbie the same weekend. But just remember that most people see one movie a month, much less a weekend. So somebody's going to be a big winner at the box office that weekend. Would Nolan even care since he's after Oscars with that movie? To be honest with you, I really feel that Universal will just move Oppenheimer. They should. It doesn't need to be in Barbie's shadow. It wants to dominate the conversation around its release, and I think Barbie's going to be a big talking point. Hopefully Nolan realizes that he's playing a long game here and lets his grudge with Warner Brothers go. But will Warner Brothers let it go? Because even if Oppenheimer is moved to another date, Warner Brothers has a lot of movies they can maybe put opposite it. So that's very interesting. All right, what do you think? I know a lot of you are upset with Warner Brothers, but I think you can't deny that this is an incredible slate. All right, share those thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.